So what is LILi? LILi is a group of librarians from various types of libraries working to craft effective models of lifelong sequential information literacy instruction. And you can see our logo on the top left here. Lion, this beautiful icon right here, stands for LILi Instruction Open Network. And it was a project the Web Committee initiated to create a community for instructional librarians and LIS students to support each other in our work. And so this is, the show and tell is a manifestation of this. So let's go on ahead and go over the code of conduct. So if everyone can read along with me, the code of conduct for LILi. Lifelong information literacy strives to support an open exchange of ideas within a safe and respectful environment. Please be respectful to all guests and presenters. Use discretion with photographs, recordings, and sharings. If a participant engages in harassing behavior, LILi moderators will take any action, including warnings and removal from today's event. Today's land acknowledgement, and this is from the space and location that I am in right now. CSULB is located on the sacred site of Puvungna, the gathering place. We acknowledge that we are on the land of Tongva and Gabrieleño and the Hashem and Juaneño nations who have lived and continue to live here, along with the Chumash to the north and west and the Tataviam and Cahuilla nations to the east. We recognize the Tongva Hasheman nations and their spiritual connection as the first stewards and the traditional caretakers of this land. We thank them for their strength, perseverance, and resistance. So today we have an exciting presentation. I'm incredibly excited. Today we are going to hear from two great people, Xiao Behlendorf, a librarian from Los Angeles Valley College, and Walter Butler, library chair, OER lead, library tech instructor and acquisitions from Pasadena Community College. And today they will be presenting OER Tech's Introduction to College Research and a supplemental canvas created by a team of California Community College librarians.
Great, so I guess we'll just start here. Let me get my screen open. Good morning, everyone. My name is Walter. Thank you for that great introduction. And I know Xiao is here too. I don't know if you want to say hello.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. I see we have 124 people, so this is really beyond our expectations. So, on behalf of our team, I want to thank you all for being here with us. And it is truly a team effort for the book and the canvas shell. So I hope that, we'll be able to show you a few highlights, and then you will, hopefully you adopt it or adapt it for your, whether it be your one unit or 3 unit credit courses or your just one-shot BI or your workshops.
Great. Okay. So hopefully everyone can see the slide I have up right now. Yes, okay, I see nods, that's great, excellent. So just some background information here. There was a big team of us working on this project for the past year. This was a project that was funded through, for those of you who are not from California, but it was funded through the Academic Senate of California Community Colleges. And they do what has now become an annual, and hopefully it will stay that way, grant opportunity to work on OER projects. So they accepted our proposal. And the other 2 authors who aren't here today, but do say hello, Aloha Sargent and Kelsey Smith from Gabriel Community College and West Hills College Lemoore. Were really great. So it was the 3 of us who were working on the actual writing of the book. And then we have Cynthia Cohen, who was our masterful editor, who double-checked everything we were writing and gave us a lot of feedback and really strengthened the book to keep us all uniform as we were moving through that. And then, of course, we have Xiao here and Cynthia Orozco from East LA College. And they really worked on the Canvas side of this project for us. to tie everything back into the book, which was really great. So what I will do here, I'm just going to move ahead here on the slide. We are curious on to where everyone's coming from. So there's a little survey here. I'm going to put this link here in the chat since it's not popping up there on where to go. Hold on one second. Here we go. So if you click on that link in the chat, it should bring you to this survey activity. And you can just click somewhere on the map as close as you can if your state's really small, sorry. Or if you're outside the states, also apologies, but it's the map we got. So you can just kind of click elsewhere. Just excellent.
I guess we're sorry we didn't include Canada on the map.
Yeah, Canada's not there.
Sorry.
We'll just give a moment here for it to load. So a lot from California. Hi, everyone. And some representation out there from the East Coast. I did my undergrad in Philadelphia, so it's nice to see. We have Midwesterners here too. Excellent.
Well, thank you, Esther, for that suggestion. So we've got 2 people from Canada.
Excellent. This is great. This will just give us some context too as we move through this. So if you're unfamiliar with how this grant opportunity was working in California, it was an open call, and they do it every year, and it's just for the community colleges to develop different OER, whether it's developing a whole OER textbook or supplemental resources to an existing OER. So I'm not sure whose original idea this was. Xiao, do you remember whose idea this was originally?
Yes, Cindy and I from Valley College, we submitted a proposal, and Kelsey and her colleagues from West Hills Lemoore, they submitted their proposal. The grants for our round, they really want to have a cooperation from people from different regions of California. So our team is really a very good representation because Aloha, I would say, consider her north. Kelsey is in the middle, and I guess heavy Southern California representation. Walter, me, Cynthia, and Steve are from California. Because the grant OERI actually put me and Kelsey as a team together. So they asked us to work together, and some team member from Kelsey's side dropped. And so lucky for us, we were able to recruit Walter, Aloha, and Cynthia Roscoe to be on our team. So I, just really, shout out to my rock star team members because couldn't really have asked for more. You all know how challenging it has been because we got a grant right before we shut down for COVID, and it was some of the team members, they've all of a sudden become a full-time homeschool teachers to their kids. So it's really I think everybody just help each other out, so we're able to. I think Walter, we actually turned in ahead of schedule, so it was really
yes.
a great shout out to our team members, and it's wonderful to actually have worked on this project.
Great. So I'm just going to advance the slide. We have one more question. And this is just so we understand the context and who we're talking with here. We'll just give you a moment to fill this up. So the big question, I think that comes through sometimes with this grant applications, because it is targeting our community colleges in California, if there is any opportunity ever to work with others from the four-year institutions in California. And the grant is open to that, except the grant requires that at least 3 members are from 3 different community colleges. So beyond that, we could incorporate, or future projects can incorporate people outside that 3 community college requirement. So I'm just trying to think if there was an existing project from this past year that included others from outside of community college, but I can't think of one off the top of my head, but it is possible. And our book, the way it's set up, is aligned to a transfer level course from the community college system to the California State University system and the University of California system.
Right. For those of you who are not from the community college system in California, we, most of us offer a 1-unit UC and CSU transferable information literacy course. I don't know what other people call it, but in our district is the library science as a discipline. And also recently, I think maybe the last couple of years, quite a few people also developed a 3-unit CSU transferable course that meets area E. Basically, you take a 3-unit class that all your CSU area E is satisfied. And it's also a transferable course as well. I think when we were conceiving the idea, really, we feel there was a void because most of the OER's text outside, out there at the time, a little over a year ago, was really seemed the one we can find is very institution specific, like just for their college, their university, or they are not really for credit courses. We feel they're more for, workshops or just, different one-shot workshops put together.
Excellent. Okay, so let's move on here really fast. So this book, the authors, we really tried to target a lot of different aspects and a lot of different things that were happening within our information landscape. We really wanted to try to capture things that we thought were missing from some of the other OER textbooks, and we knew were part of our curriculum, specifically in the California community colleges, but we thought that these topics would be applicable in a broader sense as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull open the book just so you can see where it lives within Pressbooks, and someone just put in that link in the chat too, but we can put it in there again if we need it. So let me just jump out of this screen and I'll go into this one. Okay. So hopefully everyone can see that. So I'm just going to put the link here for you. Excellent. So if you haven't used Pressbooks before or haven't accessed a book from here before, it's pretty straightforward. So the contents are usually, if you scroll down, you can find the different chapters and sections from that book. We just want to point out to everyone, we do have a note here for the instructors. If you're adopting the book, just background information about what the book is. So of course it comes with an open license. We also have the link here available to the supplementary Canvas resources if you use Canvas as your LMS. But you can access that through the Canvas Commons, which I will show in a moment what that looks like. There's also additional formats available to download the book through. So there's a link there that will bring you to those formats. I'll just click on it so you can see. So of course you can read it online, or you can download it as a PDF, EPUB, or a MOBI file. If you want something that's easier to edit, just reach out to us and we can supply you with. We've worked in Google Docs and in Word while we were building this, so we have it in different areas, but we could send you something that you could more easily edit if you need to. Let me go back to that note.
And also, if your students or anyone want to purchase a print copy, we have it on lulu.com as well. So it's I think it's $12.99 for printing on demand.
Yep, and it was checked by the Academic Senate of California Community Colleges for accessibility. So we feel pretty comfortable with its accessibility level. And then also we have an adoption form here And that's just an ask. Of course, it's not required, but it's a way to keep you in the loop too in case we decide to revisit this later and do any major updates. Of course, we expect that there will be minor edits and revisions as we get feedback from people. We've already gotten some great feedback, and we do have a suggestion form for that, and we're able to make any quick adjustments if needed. So we have that running as a separate form too. As far as the general structure of the book goes, the thought process behind it was to start off with some theoretical concepts to kind of lay down the groundwork for why we're looking at information literacy. So the first couple chapters there really target some of these big issues to get the conversation going. And then we start to slide into some practical applications, right? So this is where we see more traditional practices within our courses. So we see, how we identify different types of information sources and using in the library and the library databases. And then we kind of exit out of the book, getting into, now you found all of these resources, how do you use them ethically and how do you cite them properly? So that's the general framework of the book. And each chapter just has, different sections, and you can focus on those sections specifically if you want to. So like in the fact checking, we actually put in, the concept of how do you fact check images and how do you examine memes, as students are subjected to those maybe more than they realize. And then when we get into some of the practical applications, you'll see there's critical thinking sections. And these are just quick questions, not really quick questions, but there's questions that are thrown out there for the students to think about and that you could use to foster discussion, whether you're doing a one-shot session maybe with a class, or if you're structuring it in your own LMS and you want to pull out discussion board topics. So there's these critical thinking pieces throughout as suggestions that you could use too. So that's
I just want to add, Walter, is, even though we have California community college students as a sort of our intended audience, but I think we try to make it very, very as generic as possible, so then it can be used by people, really anybody who is teaching information literacy classes. I think the only thing that's really generic is sort of specific is the one search, right? Other than that, it's really very general.
Yes.
So it's not, we try not to tie it into institution specific, because that's what we found lacking was, you have to do so much customization to use for you, because, keep on saying that college's name, you may just forget one or two in your adaptation.
Great. And so that's the book in a nutshell. I think we'll transition now into the Canvas shell, just so you can see what that looks like and how to find it. So, Xiao, did you want to? I'll just pull this open here, and I can put this link in the chat if you want me to.
Right, and Walter, would you just show the link? I think you already did. Just the link from the book directly. There is a link there in the notes to instructors. And we were told sometimes the link may not work. So if it doesn't work, just go search the Canvas Commons directly, and you'll find that it's the ASCCC, that's the Academic Senate of California, so they have their names in there. Walter, do you want me to share my screen, or you want to just share it so I can just...
Whatever is comfortable, whatever you feel comfortable with.
You can just share it now that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see the window right now?
Yep.
Or are you still on my side? Okay.
I do see it, yes.
Okay.
So the Canvas module, so let's go to look at how to use the course shell, because we have some questions about how, there are questions about, is this a course that you could just move into, become your library science 101 or however you call it, but it is not a course. This is really an ancillary to the book. So we try to, each module is corresponding with a book chapter. So when you go into, so you can see, so it's not, you still need to put in your, course objective, your own syllabus and everything to make this into a course. You can take pieces of it or, a chunk of it to make it into your course. And Walter actually can show you how he adapted the Canvas shell into his library. What do you call your class? He's a 1 unit class for this semester, so he will show you. And I'll just quickly show you, like what it is. And, we have, again, attribution for you to use there. Also a form that you can, tell us how you're using it, just for our own information and how for changes. And also, let's go to the age of algorithms, so we can see the for almost all the modules, we'll have quizzes and discussion. So this is a pretty well developed one. So if you look at the discussion, we have the full discussion and also has a grading rubric in there as well to make it easier, if you want to use the same grading rubric. And same with quiz and rubric as well. So I think that's really in each one. There's one just additional sources. That's really a instructor facing one. So it's basically we couldn't put that information in the book, or we think, there's some other things that could be useful that may be better to be in the Canvas shell than in the book. So we have the additional links. So this is also, we like to have the adoption form because I think we already have suggestions saying, well, how about using, this? So when you are using it, we hope this is sort of a work in progress. We can build it even more and, crowdsource your ideas, your wisdom to make it into, as good as it can be. Okay, so I think that's what I have to show about the Canvas course. But Walter, I think it would probably be more useful to see in practice how it's done.
Sure. Yeah, let me pull that open. So at my college, Pasadena City College, we have a 1 unit course. It's only 6 weeks. So it's really fast. And I set this up. I'm wrapping up. We're on our 5th week right now. So next week's our last week for the students. And so what I did was, I'm just going to pull open my modules here. So it'll probably be a little easier. So what we did, or what I did, was I would link out to specific chapters from the text. Because it is a 6-week class and there's a lot of chapters in our OER that we developed, I wasn't able to include all of them. So it was picking and choosing what fit best for our curriculum, right? Which is the great thing about the OER. So just linking out to it and building assignments around those different readings and activities. And some of these activities I will probably put back in to that Canvas shell that we have for the textbook, because I developed some new activities as well as I was moving through this that can supplement even further for the topics from those chapters. But that's what we have, or how I've been using it right now. I'm just starting to get feedback from students too, which is great, and I'm going to have more feedback from them next week as well as we wrap up the class. Just their thoughts about the text and about some of the activities as well that were incorporated to get that direct feedback from the students. So this was just a pilot run, and hopefully my students weren't too lost by all of it. Okay.
Hey, I think, we are open for your questions. Let us know if you have any questions.
Ciao, this is Caroline. There's a few questions in the chat. Great conversation, actually. And it has something to do with the CSU Area A. Do you think this might be a pretty solid way to go about the CSUA area requirement?
I saw that. I think that's a really, really good idea. And I know there's also a question about Area F, the the newer ethnic studies, because I actually just attended a meeting at our college. We were talking about developing courses. And actually, our library science classes were mentioned, says, that could be, I guess, if we are designed or reoriented in a way that could be. I think those are great ideas. I feel like we could possibly just maybe think about this and, we could add a chapter or, a couple of chapters to make it really be able to, I guess adding, I think we kind of a little bit, the algorithmic bias is sort of our way of touching on, I guess, information bias. So that sort of could lead to, social justice part of the discussion, and that could really be for Area F. I think Area A would be great because, we are actually just offering for this semester, for the first time we developed the course in 2018, got approved, I think maybe 19, we just are able to offer it this semester as a late start. So it's all about, I guess, getting students' attention or getting the word out. We feel this is a good time because, most of our kinesiology class are not happening because it's hard to do it in an online environment. But, I think if we are able to, either having, a course that can do double duties, perhaps we'll get a better enrollment. But Ding and I were talking the other day. I thought, it would be also help us if our CSU librarians could develop your own, your Area E course, because if you are developing that course, which is sort of in line with ours, then it's probably a easier way for us to promote the class, because you can catch your students who are there started as freshmen, but we will be able to catch our students who are transferring to your CSUs, which is the majority of our students are transferring to CSU. Then they will be, this will be their required course to take, and then they will be able to satisfy the transfer requirements. So that would be a really good way of working together to make sure, information literacy is taught, because, we all know, and, I know that we're all librarians, but we all know some of the faculty are not really equipped with teaching it because they were never taught. So it's our responsibility, but the hard part is to get, your college administration to give you, the allocation so you can teach more classes, and also for students to teach it, because if we take it, if it's not required, we know they don't take it.
Thank you, Xiao. That's a great suggestion. There's a few more comments in the chat, so I'll just read it in the order that I see it. So if I miss it, apologies, just retype it in. Sort of unrelated, how did you get that little library icon on the left menu?
Oh, in the Canvas shell?
I'm going to say yes.
So this one? Is that what you're talking about? We're kind of lucky at our college. The dean over the library is also the dean over distance ed. Mm-hmm. So she has some sway when it comes to what resources will be available in Canvas for the whole campus. So that's how we got that put there. But if you do have connections with your distance ed division at your college or IT, whoever's running Canvas and sets that up, it's just putting that extra link there that goes straight to the library. Yeah. I'll just
Very
put it
cool.
here. And it's at the top level navigation, so it's with every course, right? Mm-hmm. Within a course, you could have a separate link that we have that goes to the library as well. But this one will be available at all times right? Just like the bookstore has one here too for us.
That's pretty cool. Thank you, Walter.
Yeah.
How did you get this approved for CSU GE credit? Such an accomplishment.
For us, and I'm sure for all of the community college, we go through the same process, and we go through our curriculum committee, and our person in charge will send it to the CSU committee for approving courses, and that either gets approved or rejected. Our library science, the 1 unit one was rejected from Area E approval, but the 3 unit was approved.
Excellent. Thank you.
And Caroline, I'm sorry. I'm just going to show this where that icon was really fast.
Oh yeah, go for it, Walter.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No
I was
worries.
thinking. Yeah. So if you didn't see what they were talking about, it's right over here in the main navigation for Canvas, at least in our Canvas shell.
Looks great. Thank you.
Yeah.
The next question or comment, I'd like to refer to your work in my research. Do you have a preferred attribution for the whole project rather than just the book?
I think we have, if you use, I don't think we have one for both. It's just for book and the Canvas are separate attribution, right, Walter?
Right. Yeah, because they were separate creations, so.
But they have them, we have them in the book and the Canvas shell, like how we would prefer to be attributed. And Walter, maybe I'm not familiar with Schoology. Is that how?
Yeah. So in school, I actually help my partner with Schoology all the time because they use it at he's an elementary teacher, right? So Schoology, you can upload the PDF files into Schoology and embed it that way, or you can link out to the Pressbooks text. And then with the Canvas module activities, you can look at the module activities to that Canvas Commons, but I don't think there's an import into Schoology that will translate it for Schoology's platform. But you could look at the activities and recreate them in Schoology manually, I guess. So, yeah.
Nice. Here's another one. I'm a librarian at both high school and community college. I would like to consider using parts of this OER book with the high school students. Does OER apply to use with high school students too?
Definitely.
Anyone. It has the CC Commons, was the 4, so anyone can use it, adapted even for commercial purposes, right, Walter? I think that's so we have the most flexible, I guess, licensing for the book and the Canvas shell.
Yeah, and the concepts are general enough that you can apply those concepts to your curriculum at the high school as well. And I used to be a high school librarian, so I can definitely see how that would apply to specific assignments and research talks with different classes as well to support their activities.
Very cool. There's a really nice comment here. I had our printing services department print it out for me, easier for me to use as quick reference as I do curriculum development. And it's just really beautiful as a print textbook as well. You did an amazing, thoughtful job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think if you are, if you're thinking of developing or which platform to consider, I think our writers, all of us decided Pressbook is a preferred choice, even though the ASCCC OERI, they use LibreText, right? That's the platform they use. So we actually paid for our own publishing so we can get it on Pressbook because it really does look beautiful. So great work, our writers.
And thank you. And there's a discussion about CSU IGETC on 3-unit courses. Do you guys have any comments on those?
we only use a 1-unit course, but I don't know about Xiao.
I don't think we, for us, there was, I think it's really more about I'm assuming it's more about your local curriculum committee, because ours, it took a while because it's a new course for our district. So we had to first go through our campus curriculum committee, they have posted, and they had to go bring to the district curriculum committee because we are a 9-college district. And then they have to approve it. And one thing, because we didn't even get to call it what we wanted to call it, because one of our colleges, they wanted a different name. And we ended up compromised in our 3-unit course name. Now I can't don't remember what it was now, because if we disagreed, we didn't agree, then it would be a much more complicated process. So we ended up just say, okay, let's put our 2 names together. So that's how we got it. And I didn't think we had any resistance. Maybe we just kind of under the radar because other departments don't really necessarily know what we were doing. And I don't know if, probably the ones, the librarians who developed this course, the 3-unit course knew, I think was it 2000, I can't remember, it was 2018, the CSU chancellor, right? He actually added information literacy as an area E. It wasn't part of it before. So that's after he added it, there was a memo or something. So we were able to get this course because before it wasn't considered in the area E subject.
Awesome. Here's another question. Does this book/course have general SLOs that can be mapped to program institutional level outcomes, perhaps considering overlapping SLOs with other disciplines related to information competencies, as some college refer to info literacy?
Yeah, we discussed that. But we felt there was a lot of local decisions that would have to happen around that framework. So we didn't feel as if the book itself could carry that. And we thought it would be better for individuals who are adopting it to map it to their own local SLOs and then branch it out within their own institutional frameworks that they have. But it is something we can revisit as like suggestions, like suggested SLOs throughout. Good idea.
Great, thank you. I think I'm caught up with the questions in the comments, unless someone wants to jump on their mic or add a few more comments, questions in the chat. I'll give you a few minutes.
Hi, good morning. My name is Mario. I work at LA Pierce College. To follow up with my question, I was just thinking, when you were developing the curriculum for this book, did you think about ways in which the content can be connected to other disciplines such as like journalism or communication studies? Because I know in my community college, I feel like that faculty in those departments, they are taking more seriously the field of information literacy, although they might call it something different like media literacy. So I don't know if as you were developing the content of the book, if there were modules or elements that you could see being easily connected to these other disciplinary fields, because I often feel like, at least in my college, the librarians and these other disciplines that are related to InfoLit, they don't really like create partnerships or collaborate. But I did appreciate how your book mentions newer things like algorithms and disinformation and that kind of stuff.
I think we have discussions, right, Walter, because we feel like, say for fact checking, for example, that could be really used by any discipline faculty. If they're talking, because for our college, everybody who developed a new course or updating existing course, they have to check this box called information literacy. Actually, that's a curriculum item everybody has to check. But we all know in reality, probably most people don't necessarily take the time to talk about it. Maybe some of our English faculty do it. We have not that many people really requesting library instruction for their classes, maybe 30% at best for all the classes. So we're hoping that we could promote it so that say journalism faculty or English faculty specifically could just take a module and put it a link out to their Canvas site, or send their students to do something as a requirement. And when we did our last presentation in the which is sponsored by the OERI, ASCCC OERI, several faculty, a biology faculty, I think social justice faculty, they said, "Oh, great! I am going to adopt this for my class, or add something to my class." So I think that's also our goal is could be beyond just the librarians who are teaching, because really the way to teach, we all know the way to teach information literacy is really to integrate it into curriculum. It should be taught across board. That's really the best way to do it. But, I guess we all have limitations.
Thank you for that insight.
I have a few more questions in the chat. Tech question, how do I download? I can't click the button. Is the button only active for those logged in?
Let's see. Which download are you looking at? Is it in the Canvas or the Pressbooks?
We have a link in the chat right now.
The
Canvas.
one. Okay. Let's explore and see what's going on.
Yeah, I think you should be able to import it, right? I mean, I'm not sure you can.
It does say you have to log in. So you'd have to log into Canvas Commons to be able to download it.
And you can create an account, right, if you don't have one.
Yeah, you can create a
free.
Correct.
Very cool. I have another question. How will you crowdsource possible changes based on suggestions?
So we have the form, and that links out. So the form is in the Note to Instructors portion of the text. I'll share my screen really fast here. Hold on. If I can get back. Okay, so it's in the Note for Instructors within Pressbooks, and if you scroll down to the bottom, there's the form here for suggestions. So you'd fill this out, and this gets kicked over to us for those suggestions. So that's how we're managing it right now. But there might be better ways to do it later.
Esther, does that answer your question? Okay, we'll wait for a response from her. A few more. 9th edition of MLA is coming out April 22nd. Will you update the textbook right away? Can the 8th and 9th edition differences remain intact side by side for a period of time?
Yeah, we discussed that.
I think we were just happy right now to put this to bed for the time being after working at it for a year. I think we will, that's the reason we have the form. I think we will manage it at, I guess as much as we are able to. So, there may be eventually a newer edition. So this may live as is for a little bit before we get some time to take a breath and do something, right, Walter?
Yeah, and I'm hoping that the 9th edition doesn't have any major changes to the core part of the citation for MLA, the format, but instead is targeting those problematic things that I don't think our book gets into, but that's what I'm hoping at least. But then definitely mention, hey, there's a new 9th edition out. So updating that will hopefully be easier.
And we're hoping that you will do it when you are, adapting or adopting the Canvas shell. You will make the update on your own, even we don't do it, right?
Awesome, thank you. We're going to go back to the suggestion part. Love the suggestion form, but what happens after you get those suggestions?
Yeah, so right now what we've been doing is Aloha has been managing the suggestion form. So when she gets a suggestion, she emails it out to the group of us, we review it, and then do any necessary revisions that that we have to do at that point. Or we have a conversation and Aloha reaches back out to the commenter to get further information to figure out how we can support that change. That's been the process right now. If the person doesn't give us an email, since it's optional, then we kind of have to float the idea around a bit. But so far there hasn't been a lot of recommendations for changes. It's just been general feedback, which has been really helpful too.
Very good. Here's a comment. I logged into Pressbooks, but I don't see the download PDF option.
From the Notes to Instructors page, there should be. So if you go to the Pressbook and there's Notes to Instructors, and then there should be a link, say different ways. We list out different ways you can download the book. I'm sure I remember PDF definitely was one of the options. And like Walter said, if if something needs something a bit more easier to adapt, we could also possibly send you the Google Doc that we used, because that's how we finished and then import it into Pressbook.
Thank you. And just wondering if someone or some group like all of you or like LILi would want to have a page site where adaptations to your book are linked.
I think that would be really cool. I think just seeing how other people are putting it into practice, have adapted it, and then applied it to their own context would be really neat to see. I don't know if LILi wants to take that on, but I think it'd be really cool to see that.
Great. And then if I can make a small suggestion, it'd be amazing if there was a synopsis at the landing page. What are you guys' thoughts?
Oh, I think that's a nice idea. We'll have to see how to format that in Pressbooks, right? So to have like a little synopsis here, maybe. Yeah, I could see how that would be very neat to have.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else want to jump on the mic and ask a question or write something in the chat? I'll give you a few more minutes. Thank you so much to our presenters for being so gracious and answering so many questions. There's great discussion in the chat right now. Just great suggestions all around, so thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much for your thoughtful suggestions and for your kind words. Really, this is really a labor of love for us. So it's really very, very gratifying to see the enthusiasm surrounding the book.
Oh, well, here's a question. Do the CCCs have a statewide license for Pressbooks?
No. We had they do LibriText. Is that how you pronounce it? LibriText. That's what they provided, but we chose to use Pressbook. So it's also in the LibriText as well. That's the format. That's the platform they chose. But I don't know. I personally like the Pressbook so much better. Just it looks more pleasing.
And then we have here someone in the chat is actually writing a book on academic librarians' role in supporting the first year experience, college readiness, and adult learners. And I will certainly reference this wonderful work. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
There's a lot of thank yous. Oh man, Great work, you guys. I'm going to start sharing my screen because I have a few announcements, but thank you so much to Walter and Xiao for this. This was amazing. So I'm going to share my screen now. All right, we're past the Q&As. So we hope you enjoyed our presentation, and we have some exciting announcements and events as LILi, our organization. LILiCon, LILi Conference 2021, is on July 9th, 2021. It is free and it is virtual. And our time is to be determined, but around 10 o'clock or so for a few hours, and we'll ensure that we have that information out soon. Our theme for our conference is what you don't know and are afraid to ask, teaching ourselves and others. And so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the LILi webpage, and we have the information on the CFP here. And this is what the actual CFP looks like. And so it's on July 9th. And our proposal deadline is April 15th. So we encourage everyone to get some proposals in, and we have information on example presentation topics for submission. And we also have questions that you can consider as you're trying to brainstorm ways to present. And so we are going to have a few session formats, and we're going to have 10-minute lightning talks, 20-minute presentations, a posters session, and virtual roundtable discussion. So please consider submitting a proposal, and our form is right here, and it looks something like this. So hopefully, Ding, if you don't mind sharing the links in the chat, that would be great. And so I think that's it, everyone. Thank you for coming and for being a part of this discussion. I hope everyone had a good time today and learned a few things. And thank you so much to Xiao and Walter and the web committee. This was a great event. I took a look at the attendees, and it was 133 at one point. So that was amazing. And do you guys have any last words to say or anything you'd like to share with us before we leave?
Thank you from Walter and I, from our team, for you being here, and please send us your questions, suggestions for us to hopefully make it better even.
Yes, thank you, everyone. This was great.
Yeah, and thank you for Ding and Caroline and Jonathan for promoting the event, for inviting us. This is really a great opportunity, and it's so nice to see so many of you and even familiar faces. So nice. Thank you.
Yeah, great turnout, great support. And if anyone is interested in presenting, we encourage you all to reach out to us and just submit your proposal for a show and tell, or submit your proposal for LILiCon 2021. We're a great group. We're very supportive, and so we welcome everyone.